The future of President Biden's nearly $2 trillion coronavirus relief bill is up in the air in an evenly divided Senate tonight. Same goes for the House-approved Equality Act, which critics fear would have a profound negative impact on religious freedom. Let's discuss these two big pieces of congressional business with GOP Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana. Good to have you back, Senator.
Thank you, Shannon.
Let's start with the Equality Act. And supporters say it's all about making sure that people within the LGBTQ community are treated fairly. They're not discriminated against. Here is what House Democrat David Cicilline says about balancing the interests involved here.
You know, we were very careful in the Equality Act to ensure that the religious exemptions which currently exist remain undisturbed. The right to religious expression and the deeply held commitment to ending discrimination. The Equality Act achieves both of those things.
Well, over at NPR, they've got a piece that says the bill also explicitly says that it trumps the Religious Freedom Restoration Act. So under the Equality Act, an entity could not use that, RFRA, to challenge the act's provisions, nor could it use it as a defense to claim made under the act. So people who would say they have a religious reason for taking some certain position will not be able to assert that as a defense. So have we found the balance now here between respecting two different communities whose, rights may collide?
Well, look, Shannon, everybody is entitled to his opinion. If you don't like that, I hear North Korea is beautiful this time of the year. Here's my opinion about the Equality Act. President Biden and his Democratic colleagues are asking me to vote to overrule parents who have a transgender child and who have refused to consent to giving that child chemicals or surgery to change the child's sex. I mean, that's what the bill would do. I don't see the higher justice in that. I don't see the higher justice, and the bill would do this too. I don't see the higher justice in requiring women's sports programs to make women compete against biological males with gender dysphoria. I don't see the higher justice in voting to require our schools to expose girls in a junior high locker room to the genitals of a boy who identifies as a girl. And to your point, I don't see the higher justice in voting to gut the Religious Freedom Restoration Act like a fish, because that's what the Equality Act does. It says specifically that the Religious Freedom Restoration Act, which was passed in 1993 with bipartisan support and which is essential to protecting our religious freedom, does not apply to the Equality Act. Now,
so, look, Senator, let me stop you there, though. Let me ask, because there are those who will say the statements that you made about transgender females competing in sports. They were born biologically male, now competing against women. They say these young students, these people have no place that they feel that they can fit in society. This is about them not asking for something extra, but just to be recognized as what they are, what they believe their gender assignment is. So, you talk about RFRA and religious freedom. Congressman Al Green, very upset on the House floor last week, just a few days ago. He said, this is not about God. It's about men who choose to discriminate against other people. So clearly we have this huge chasm where I'm not sure people are going to understand each other on either side of that. Is there a way to be sensitive to both sides? Do you think that's possible, or you just think this vehicle is not it?
Not with this bill. Look, gender dysphoria is real. Medical authorities, the DSM-5, the NIH, estimate that about 1 out of 30,000 boys who are born and 1 out of 100,000 girls who are born will have gender dysphoria. So it's not common. And certainly we shouldn't discriminate against a person with gender dysphoria. But this bill, for the reasons I just stated, in my opinion, does not equitably balance the interests of those with gender dysphoria and those without gender dysphoria. And you can marshal a persuasive argument. This isn't even a federal issue anyway, that we ought to leave it to the states. Now, If the Louisiana legislature wants to vote to require our schools to expose girls in a junior high locker room to the, forgive me for being so direct, but this is what the bill would do, to the penis of a boy who identifies as a girl, that's up to the Louisiana legislature. But President Biden is asking me to vote to require the Louisiana legislature to do that. I don't think the Louisiana legislature will do that anyway, but I'm sure not going to vote to require them to do that. And that's what this bill would do, like it or not. I don't favor discrimination against anyone, certainly not because of an immutable characteristic. But you've got to balance the interests. And I don't care what anybody says. This bill guts the Religious Freedom Restoration Act like a fish. It says specifically, big as Dallas, right there in the bill, that the Religious Freedom Restoration Act does not apply. And anybody that is suggesting otherwise is either not telling the truth or they didn't graduate from kindergarten.
Or read the bill, as often happens on Capitol Hill. Okay, we're out of time, but I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts on the COVID bill. Come back and talk to us about that. For now, we're going to watch this equality bill and see how it proceeds as it heads to the Senate. Senator, always appreciate your time. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.